All right, ready to dive into something most of us know too well.
Oh, yeah, lower back pain. It's like a badge of honor for adulthood almost. 4 out of 5 adults deal with it at some point.
That many. Wow. You're not kidding. I actually saw that nearly 40% of American adults had back pain recently.
Yeah.
So, what are we looking at today to help us get to the bottom of this?
Well, you've gathered a really interesting mix of stuff. Home remedies, medical treatments, even how our lifestyle choices affect our backs.
Oh, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like one source mentioned a link between smoking and, get this, degenerative disc disease.
Yeah.
You don't usually think of that when you think about smoking.
Definitely not as well known as lung cancer, but it's a big deal. Nicotine messes with your body's calcium absorption.
And calcium builds strong bones, including in our spines. Makes sense.
Exactly. And it gets worse. Nicotine makes your blood vessels smaller, meaning less blood flow everywhere, including the spine.
Starving the spine of what it needs. And that leads to...
You got it. Degenerative disc disease.
Okay, so before we go too far, let's back up. One source talked about acute versus chronic back pain.
That's important. Acute pain usually comes on suddenly, like from an injury. Your body's saying, whoa, something's wrong here.
Like an alarm system.
Yeah, think of a sprained ankle. Swelling is your body immobilizing the joint to let it heal. Same with your back.
So those muscle spasms.
They're like a natural splint, limiting movement to protect the area.
Makes sense, but I've heard you should keep moving, even when it hurts. Is that right for back pain too?
Definitely, especially acute pain. Rest is good at first, but gentle movement helps blood flow to the muscles, healing them faster.
Like jump-starting a car.
Perfect analogy. Now, chronic pain is different. It's pain that lasts 3 months or more, not just a simple strain anymore.
One article even called it neurological. Is it all in our heads then?
Not exactly all in your head, but the nervous system is definitely involved. Those pain signals can get amplified even when the injury is healed.
So like those pathways get more sensitive?
Yeah, the pain volume gets turned up and stays there. It can happen from inflammation, stress, even how you react to pain.
How you react to it. Now that's interesting.
Imagine you hurt your back badly once. Your brain remembers, and even years later might overreact to any little twinge.
Like it's expecting pain, even if there's no real danger.
Right, and that fear of pain can actually make it worse. Vicious cycle.
The mind-body connection is crazy. So with chronic pain, it's not just about the physical part.
Right, you have to look at the whole picture. Physical, neurological, and psychological. It's all connected.
Okay, that makes sense. Before we get into the complex stuff, what about those simple home remedies? Some sources mention ibuprofen or acetaminophen for a start.
Good point. But there are key differences between them. Ibuprofen is an NSAID. It fights inflammation directly.
So it tackles the cause, while acetaminophen just masks the pain.
In a way, yeah. Acetaminophen targets how you feel the pain, not the inflammation itself.
So you need to pick the right one for your type of pain. What about heat therapy? Saw that mentioned a few times.
Heat therapy is great for both acute and chronic pain. It increases blood flow, relaxes muscles, eases pain.
Like a heating pad on a sore muscle.
Exactly. And one expert, Dr. Neil Anand, recommends heat before exercise to warm up those muscles.
Makes sense. Speaking of things we do that impact our back, let's talk sleep positions. One article said sleeping on the floor with a pillow under your feet could help.
Sounds strange, but it keeps your spine neutral. Firm surface, legs slightly raised.
So even how we sleep matters.
Big time. Your sleeping position can either help your back recover or make things worse. Like sleeping on your stomach is usually a no-no for back pain.
Okay, no more stomach sleeping. Side or back then?
Side sleeping is good, especially with a pillow between your knees for alignment. And if you sleep on your back, a pillow under your knees helps too.
I'm learning so much already. Good posture is a part of all this too, right?
Huge part. Sadly, our modern lifestyle with all the sitting is terrible for our backs.
So what can we do? Besides quitting our jobs and becoming yoga masters,
Haha, well, being aware of your posture is a start. Ergonomic workspace. Adjust your chair, use a lumbar support pillow, screen at eye level to avoid tech neck.
small changes, big difference.
Yeah.
But we all forget sometimes.
Right, that's where posture correcting apps come in. One source mentioned Posture Man Pat. It uses your phone's camera to help you.
Posture Man Pat, that's amazing. Okay, so we've got movement, sleep, posture. What about food?
Diet is huge for overall health, including your back. One key thing we see in the sources is the power of anti-inflammatory foods.
Anti-inflammatory, that's a buzzword for sure. But how does it help our backs?
Inflammation, whether from an injury or just chronic, is a big part of pain. Eating these foods can help calm it down.
So what are we talking about here?
Lots of colorful fruits and veggies, leafy greens, fatty fish, nuts and seeds, healthy fats like olive oil.
That's pretty good, actually. The sources also talked about calcium and vitamin D. Important for bones, sure, but how do they help with back pain?
Strong bones equal a strong spine. Calcium is the building block, and vitamin D helps you absorb it.
So not enough of those, and my spine is weaker, more likely to get hurt.
You got it. And deficiencies are more common than you think. One expert even suggested getting your levels checked and maybe taking supplements.
Good to know. Better safe than sorry. Now, I'm all about drinking water, but never connected it to back pain.
Dehydration is sneaky. Those discs in your spine are like sponges. They need water to stay plump.
Ah, so if I'm dehydrated, they can't cushion as well.
Exactly. That can cause stiffness, pain, even make you more likely to get injured.
Wow, I'm learning so much. I'll definitely be drinking more water now.
Yeah.
One last thing before we finish up part one, the impact of footwear on back pain.
Oh, yeah, the often forgotten factor. The shoes you wear can subtly change your posture and how you walk, which can lead to back issues.
So we talking just high heels here.
High heels are definitely a problem. They shift your weight forward, which messes with the curve in your lower back.
Okay, heels are out then. Anything else to watch out for?
Any shoes without good arch support or cushioning? Think flip-flops, flat shoes with no support, even old sneakers.
So it's got to be functional and fashionable.
Exactly. Good shoes can do wonders for preventing back pain.
This has been amazing. I can't believe how many things can impact our backs.
And we're just getting started.
Can't wait for more. Listeners, make sure to tune in for part two, where we'll explore how the nervous system and chronic pain are connected. It's going to be fascinating.
Welcome back. Ready to get into some of the more complicated stuff about back pain.
Oh, absolutely. Part one was eye-opening. Never thought about my shoes like that. But you really got me thinking about the whole nervous system thing and how it plays into chronic pain. Feels kind of matrixy.
Haha. Not quite the Matrix, but we are going to explore how the nervous system is involved, especially with chronic pain. It all starts with understanding that pain isn't a simple on-off switch, more like a complex communication network.
So it's more than just a physical injury. There's like a whole conversation happening.
Exactly. Imagine you stub your toe.
Right.
Pain receptors send a signal through your nerves to your brain. It's like an urgent telegram.
Okay, makes sense. Then your brain's like, hey, that hurt.
Right, pull your foot away.
Mm-hmm.
But with chronic pain, those telegrams should stop once you heal, right?
Yeah, that's what you'd think.
Well, sometimes those pain pathways change. Imagine a dirt road that gets used more and more. It turns into a highway. Those pain signals travel faster and easier.
So even if the injury is gone, the nervous system is still sending those signals like crazy.
Exactly. The volume knob for pain gets stuck on high, and it gets even weirder with something called learned responses.
Wait, learned responses. Is my back learning something?
Not exactly learning like we think of it, but say you had a really bad back injury once.
Okay, yeah.
Your brain remembers that, and it wants to protect you, so it gets really sensitive to any sensation in that area, expects pain even if there's no reason.
Like a bodyguard that's always on edge, even though the danger is gone.
Perfect way to put it. That anticipation actually makes the pain feel worse. You tense up, your muscles tighten. A vicious cycle.
Wow, this is a lot to process. So chronic pain, you got to address the mental and emotional side too, not just the physical.
Exactly. And that's where those complementary therapies we mentioned can help.
I mean things like mindfulness and yoga, right?
Right. Mindfulness helps you become more aware of your thoughts and feelings, including pain, but without judgment.
So instead of freaking out about the pain, you just notice it.
Exactly. You acknowledge it without letting it take over. You change how you relate to the pain.
That's pretty powerful. It's like retraining your brain.
It is. And by reducing stress, you're lowering hormones that actually make inflammation and pain worse.
It's all connected.
Ugh.
What about yoga specifically for back pain? I've always liked it for the stretching and relaxation, but is there more to it?
Oh, yoga can be fantastic for your back. It improves flexibility, which is key for your spine, and it strengthens your core muscles.
Like building your own back support system.
Exactly. Strong core, less strain, fewer injuries. Plus, the deep breathing and mental focus in yoga is super calming.
That's like meditation in motion.
I like that. We also have acupuncture, ancient practice. But how does sticking needles in your body help with pain?
I've always wondered about that.
It's based on the idea of energy flow, or ki, in the body. Pain happens when that flow is blocked.
So the needles somehow unblock the flow.
That's the theory. And there's growing evidence it can stimulate endorphin release, your body's natural painkillers.
So there's actual science behind it, not just a placebo.
More and more research is pointing that way, especially for chronic pain.
That's fascinating. It's like a whole other way of looking at pain relief.
It is, and it shows how important it is to look at the whole picture, not just the physical symptoms.
Okay, so we've got those alternative therapies.
Yeah.
But what about the more traditional medical stuff? The sources mentioned physical therapy and even epidural steroid injections. Those sound pretty intense.
They can be. Physical therapy is often the first step, especially for chronic pain.
Okay, what does that involve?
Well, a good physical therapist will create a program just for you to strengthen your back, make it more flexible, fix any muscle imbalances.
So a customized workout for your back.
You could say that. They also use manual therapy, like hands-on techniques to work on muscles and joints.
Sounds interesting. And what about those epidural steroid injections? What are those all about?
They're actually minimally invasive. The epidural space is the area around your spinal cord where those pain signals travel.
I see.
They inject steroids there to reduce inflammation and calm those nerves. Really helpful for things like sciatica, where a disc is pressing on a nerve.
So it's a very targeted treatment.
Yeah.
Makes sense. What about medications? Are there specific drugs for back pain?
It depends on the type of pain. Muscle relaxants for spasms, sometimes stronger painkillers for a short time. But meds are usually a temporary fix.
Right, and they can have side effects.
Exactly. A long-term solution means looking at therapies and lifestyle changes.
So finding what works for you and getting to the root of the problem.
Right.
This has been amazing. It's like a whole new understanding of how my body and brain work together, or sometimes against each other when it comes to pain.
And knowing how it works helps you make better choices about your treatment. You can be more proactive.
Absolutely. Well, listeners, get ready for part 3, where we'll focus on preventing back pain in the first place. All right, we've explored what back pain is, the crazy way the nervous system plays a role, and even some pretty high-tech treatments.
From simple heat to acupuncture to those epidural injections, we've covered a lot.
For sure. But now I want to know, how do we avoid this whole back pain thing in the first place? Prevention is key, right?
Absolutely. The good news is a lot of it comes down to making healthy choices.
Give me those back-saving secrets.
Well, not so much secrets, but think of them as good habits. And the first one, we've mentioned it before, is movement.
Movement. I'm sensing a theme here.
It's crucial. Your back is this complex system of bones, muscles, ligaments, all working together. When you move, you're basically giving them a workout.
Keeping everything strong and flexible.
You got it. Exercise strengthens those muscles supporting your spine, makes it more stable, less likely to get injured, and it doesn't have to be crazy intense workouts.
So I don't have to become a marathon runner.
Nope. Walking, swimming, cycling, all those are great.
I can handle that. What about strength training? Should we be hitting the gym?
Strength training is awesome, especially for your core. It's like building an internal corset to support your spine.
Makes sense. But what about flexibility? I'm not exactly known for my bendiness.
Flexibility is just as important. It keeps that range of motion in your spine, prevents stiffness. Yoga, Pilates, even just stretching regularly can help a ton.
Strength and flexibility. Gotta have both.
Like the yin and yang of a healthy back.
Love that. Okay, I know I sound like a broken record, but posture keeps coming up. How important is it, really?
It's huge EE. Think about how much you sit every day, at work, in the car, even relaxing at home. All that sitting can lead to muscle imbalances and put more stress on your spine.
All right, you've convinced me. I need to work on my posture. But how do you actually remember to do it all the time?
It starts with awareness. Check in with yourself throughout the day. Are your shoulders slumped? Chin sticking out? Small adjustments make a difference.
Be mindful of how I'm holding myself.
Exactly. And remember those ergonomic tips? Setting up your workspace the right way can really help.
Adjustable chairs, pillows, all that stuff. It's all connected.
It is. Speaking of connections, what about food? We talked about anti-inflammatory foods, but anything else we should be paying attention to?
One of the articles talked about calcium and vitamin D for strong bones. I'm guessing that applies to our spines too, right?
Absolutely. Calcium builds the bones, vitamin D helps you absorb it, not enough of either, and your bones are weaker, more prone to injury.
So it's not just about preventing osteoporosis later in life.
It's about building a strong foundation now.
Okay, got to get those calcium-rich foods in. Any favorites?
Dairy is a classic, but if you can't do dairy, leafy greens like kale and spinach are amazing.
Leafy greens, I can do that. What about vitamin D? Enough sunshine? Or do I need a supplement?
Sunshine is good, but how much you get depends on where you live, the time of year, your skin tone. It's worth talking to your doctor to see if a supplement is right for you.
Good point. It's always better to get personalized advice. One thing that surprised me was the suggestion to sleep on the floor. Is that a real thing?
It sounds strange, but the idea is to keep your spine in a neutral position. A firm surface keeps it from curving unnaturally.
So like a DIY chiropractic adjustment every night.
Haha, kinda. Now, sleeping on the floor isn't for everyone, but the key is a supportive mattress and pillows that help with alignment.
I'm rethinking my whole sleep setup now.
Yeah.
And we can't forget about smoking. It came up a few times.
Ah, yes, smoking, bad for you in so many ways. And that includes your back. Nicotine messes with calcium and blood flow, both of which are key for a healthy spine.
So another reason to quit for your back's sake.
Definitely. One of the best things you can do for your overall health.
I'm adding that to my list.
Sure.
Before we wrap up, gotta mention the mind-body connection again. Stress and back pain, what's the deal there?
Stress is a big trigger. When you're stressed, your muscles tense up, including in your back. Plus, stress hormones can increase inflammation, making the pain worse.
So managing stress is just as important as all the physical stuff.
100%. It's all connected. Exercise, meditation, being in nature, talking to a therapist. Find what works for you to de-stress. It'll help your back too.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I'm walking away with a whole new understanding of back pain, why it happens, how to prevent it, how to take care of my back.
It's all about empowering yourself with knowledge.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this journey, everyone. We hope you've learned a lot and are ready to take charge of your back health.
And remember, a healthy back is within your reach. A little knowledge, some effort, and a whole lot of self-care. You can live a life free from back pain.
We'll be back next week with a new topic. Until then, stay curious, stay healthy, and take care of those incredible spines.